EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for July 24th, 2023. I'm back from a week of vacation with no videos, and I'm sure you guys were lost while I was gone. But you all survived, and I'm back here, and no foreseeable vacations on the horizon. Went down to Ocean City, Maryland, had a great week. Disconnect vacation, which I very much needed. And that means no social media, no nothing. And my staff ran the show, did a fantastic job doing that while I was gone. But we were going to get into a little bit of an unorthodox approach here. So I give you an overview of what the week's going to look like from a different perspective today. I'll get to that in a second. Kinsley's Family Market in Broadheadsville, Monroe County, Pennsylvania sponsors the Monday video forecast. Hot and humid conditions makes it too hot to cook inside, so why not grill up some steaks, pork chops, or seafood from Kinsley ShopRite. They have the freshest meats, seafood, and local farm-grown produce in the area guaranteed. They have the best prices, best selection, and always the nicest associates. Stop into the world's largest ShopRite and pick up all of your summer favorites. They are Kinsley ShopRite, located at 107 Kinsley's Drive in Broadheadsville, Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Proud sponsors of the Monday video forecast. So this is a look at what's going on today. We do, in fact, have scattered showers and thunderstorms, widely scattered, and I'll get to that here in a second. I want to start off with a week overview, though. So this is looking at the 500 millibar level, which is up at 18,000 feet above ground level or thereabout. This shows you where the jet stream is, which is right here. There's a jet stream, just like this. This is today. This is later today, what we're looking at. So obviously, a dip in the jet stream like this means a trough. Now, this trough is not as deep as it was over the weekend. We had some very comfortable temperatures when I got back here on Saturday. Still some seasonally warm temperatures, but we had lower humidity, which was a nice break from the hot and oppressive stuff. But it is coming back this week, unfortunately. We do have this trough that is off to our north, and the center of that trough is all the way up here. Big dome of high pressure here in the southwest U.S. This has been persistent for the last week or so. Big ridging out here was leading to some very hot temperatures out here in the desert southwest and the Four Corners region especially. But we have still a northwesterly flow aloft that's going to give us not quite as comfortable as over the weekend. The humidity is going to come up a little bit. Dew points in the low to mid 60s today, but it's still a lot lower than it could be and what it will be later in the week as this ridging takes shape. So what we're going to have is this is going to maintain here in the southwestern United States, but the trough is going to continue to lift out. And in that void, you have, by the time we get to midweek, high pressure now building in a classic position. There's a big high. You can put a big H right there. That is a Bermuda high. That is a very familiar classic summer setup here with another high maintaining out here over Arizona and New Mexico in that area. And then we have a return flow that comes around this high that's going to get the winds out of the south, and that means not only hot temperatures but increased humidity. Everybody's favorite stuff, right? But the jet stream here at this point is now off to the north. Okay, it's like that instead of that dip that I was showing you before. So we're going to have the return flow, southerly flow is going to give us hot and humid temperatures here at the end of the week. And then once we get into the latter part of the week, here's Friday where the peak heating day is. Still intact here with that high pressure sitting here, but it's going to start, you can see this trough start building in again off to the north. See, it's starting to come down a little bit. But what's going to end up happening, especially as we get to early next week, is we're going to get into a northwesterly flow aloft, which is going to look like this, okay? When you have that, it goes up and over this ridge, which is still very firmly established here in the southwestern United States. When you have a setup like this, a lot of times you get little pieces of energy, little low-pressure systems. Known as mesoscale convective systems. It'll move along this very fast boundary here, right? And in a northwesterly flow aloft and give you a severe weather threat. That's going to be a case for maybe late in the weekend or more likely early next week, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I just wanted to show you this so you get an idea of what might come down the road, okay? But before that, we're going to have the heat and humidity to deal with, and we have a lot of it. Here's what we're looking at here on Friday for probably the peak heating day of this entire week, with temperatures that are firmly in the lower 90s up north, middle 90s in between, and upper 90s further south. That's air temperatures. That's not the real field temperature or whatever you want to call it, the apparent temperature, heat index, whatever. Here's what we're looking at for heat indices here on Friday afternoon. It's very similar to what you have for Thursday, with the urban heat corridor especially getting into the 100-plus range. This is a lot of 100s in here. And this is only 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It only goes every 6 hours, so There's probably some time in there between like 3, 4, maybe 5 o'clock that it's going to be even higher than this. So I think the urban corridor, especially when you get between the Baltimore-Washington area through Philadelphia up through Newark and New York City, will be eclipsing 105 degrees in terms of heat index values. And that could lead to some heat-related headlines from the National Weather Service. What's that? That's heat advisories, that's excessive heat warnings, that kind of thing. Not sure which way they're going to go yet, and that's a short-term product that they issue, so we'll have to wait and see what they do. But we do know it's going to be hot and humid no matter how you look at it, and that's because of that ridging building in. And it's not going to be until at least after Saturday, once that we have some more showers and thunderstorms move through, that we're going to have this heat continuing. We're going to have at least 90 degrees for at least 3, maybe 4 consecutive days in some areas. And we'll have a heat wave by definition. Okay, you need 3 or more consecutive days of 90 degrees or better in order to have a heat wave, and I do think that's coming. It's back to the precipitation, though. This is today. This is this afternoon. We do have a chance for some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, and the Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk that's kind of like focused on that area anyway, right? And that's kind of like where they have it, and that extends up in New York State as well. But what we have is a weak area of low pressure surrounding the base of that trough off to our north. Another weak area of low pressure down here by the Carolinas. In between is a mid-level trough axis that kind of extends like this. This is not a cold front, it's just a mid-level trough. It's a focus of scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Okay, this is how the NAM sees it playing out. This is the latest NAM this evening that ran. It does have some activity around the Delmarva, Chesapeake Bay region, all the way up through northern and central Delaware. This morning, some of that's going to break off over PA late morning and early afternoon, as you can see here. But the focus of everything today is going to be there and points northwest. You can see this in the afternoon. Focus is mainly out here for any activity, and then maybe the southern Delmarva. That's where we're going to be dealing with the scattered showers and thunderstorms. So in between, these areas right in here, really not seeing too much. After that, any morning activity might move through early, like I showed you right here. And then that lifts off to the north and starts its own deal in the interior. But that's what we're dealing with. Now, these are mostly garden variety storms today, and mostly diurnally focused, meaning during the day. Once we get the sunset, they're gone, right? We're looking at a few of them could have locally heavy rainfall. Some gusty winds, but I don't think they're going to be severe. I think today mostly is going to be 35 to 45 in some of the more robust cells. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody had some wind damage. It doesn't take 58 miles per hour to do damage necessarily. Tree falls down or branch falls down and knocks out power. That's damage, right? It could be from a 45 mile per hour wind gust. So just remember that. Severe isn't like traditional severe necessarily all the time, especially this time of year with a very weak steering flow. Once we get to beyond today, high pressure is going to move in over top of the region here on Tuesday, giving us a partly cloudy day with just an isolated, maybe a stray shower or storm in spots, kind of like yesterday. Wasn't very much coverage of that. Don't expect much here on Tuesday as well. And then mostly sunny here on Wednesday and Thursday, with temperatures increasing into the 90s. We'll have the first, if you didn't hit 90 Tuesday, you're most likely going to do so on Wednesday, Thursday, and especially Friday, which is the peak heating day. Now, Friday night, here's Friday. Friday night, we have a cold front that's going to be moving through the region, and this is late Friday right here, and then we get in the overnight. You can see where the front is right here. Here's the front, okay? Cold front's like that, okay? And moving off to the south and east, and it's uncertain if this is the heat breaker just yet, because the models are not in agreement with how the late week period and weekend plays out. European model still wants to hang back some precipitation here on Saturday for a few areas, and then brings another front through, scattered showers and thunderstorms on Sunday, later Sunday afternoon and evening. Okay, I'll tell you the GFS has that first front on Friday overnight. Again, overnight Friday night, not during the day. And then that's it. Saturday, the front's off to the south, and it remains there on Sunday with another dry day. So this GFS Canadian model suggesting a mostly dry weekend. European model is much, much more active. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out throughout the week ahead. I will tell you when start getting that northwest flow, we start doing changes from ridging to a little more of a trough influence. The models are going to struggle with that a little bit. Case in point right here. They're not even close to each other with how that plays out. So this is just something you have to follow in the week ahead, and we will follow that for you. Just have to check back with us here, and I'll give you the latest information we have as we go throughout the week. It might take a couple days until this settles, but again, once we get early next week and get this northwest flow aloft, you might be dealing with some mesoscale convective systems. That's possible as well. Not a slam dunk there either, but at least in this setup here with this ridging the way it is and positioned over the southwestern United States, that could lead to some more active patterns as far as severe weather as we get in early next week, possibly. So just keep checking back, and we'll give you the latest information if we have it. But right now, nothing to worry about this week as far as for severe weather, except something isolated. And once we get to late, with this front here, if this front speeds up a little bit, or not this one, right there, the Friday night overnight one, if that comes in a little bit faster, again, you might be dealing with something severe weather-wise, breaking the heat here on Friday night overnight. But if it comes in too late overnight, it's going to be mitigating some of the threat. And these are the finely tuned details we will focus on in the week ahead. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for July 24th, 2023. Have a great Monday.